Now let's take a look at one of the causes of inflation, which is excessive aggregate demand. And that excessive aggregate demand is an expression of economic growth, but it's also an expression of demand pull inflation. So let's take a look. Okay. So first of all, let me just lay this out, and you're going to look at this video, and then you can look at the cost push video. And you've already seen this because in the introductory video, I sort of showed this to you just so that you could have some confidence and idea of where this whole unit on low and stable rate of inflation was going. But inflation in an economy can be caused by two things, right? An increase in aggregate demand or an increase in or a decrease rather in aggregate supply. So if there's an increase in demand, aggregate demand, it's going to be demand pull inflation. If there's a decrease in aggregate supply as a result of a supply side shock, you're going to have cost push inflation. So now we're going to focus on demand pull inflation. Okay. So the first thing I got to do is just make sure that I put in this long run aggregate supply curve, which is going to be right there. Okay. So there is the long run aggregate supply curve. But demand pull inflation occurs as a result of increasing aggregate demand in the economy. This increase is the result, or could be the result, of an increase in any of the components of aggregate demand. C to the I to the G to the X minus M. C plus I plus G plus X minus M. If any one of those move up, there's going to be an outward movement of the demand curve. And as a result, you're going to have an upward movement of price level. Because if anything is demanded more, this goes back to the basic microeconomic concepts you learned in your last course. If anything is demanded more, the price level will go up. So if there's increased aggregate demand in the entire economy, then average price levels are going to go up, okay? And so when aggregate demand increases without an increase in aggregate supply, the nation's output cannot keep up with the demand, so the prices are driven up and become more scarcer. So how do you draw demand pull inflation? You close your eyes and you go neoclassical model, boom, 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 rule of 10. And then you're like, oh, an increase demand pull. So that means that aggregate demand went out. You draw one more line, and then you draw the new equilibrium, which is going to be P2, Y2, and you're done. Okay? So this is a perfect example where knowing the neoclassical model gives you this clarity about what to draw first, and then from there you go, okay, now increased aggregate demand pull, and you have all of a sudden the demand pull inflation graph. This is why I tell you, do not memorize graphs in economics. It's a waste of time. You can't do it. There's too many of them. Think about the base diagram, neoclassical rule of 10, the Keynesian rule of 9, and then know them. That you have to memorize. But the rest of it you don't. And then you just think, okay, demand pull, aggregate demand out. Oh, that's easy. Did it make price levels go up? Yes. Cool. And guess what? This diagram right here, is also how you show economic growth on a diagram, because economic growth is an increase in aggregate demand. And an increase in aggregate demand will pull price levels up. And holy moly, demand pull inflation diagram and the economic growth diagram, they're the same diagram. And that's why instead of memorizing them, you just have to understand how these diagrams behave. And that's a perfect example, my friends. And we're rolling on to the next video.